Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. My name is Kari Capone, and I'm the founder of The Spinning Hand. And we're coming to you live from the Northeast, where it rained and rained in New Jersey. And I'm joined here with Brenda, and she tells me that it's going to rain and rain in Connecticut in just a few moments.
Yep, any minute.
So Brenda is coming to us from Brenda JS Knits, and she is a very special person for a number of reasons, not least of which is that she's our very first ever guest designer. So welcome, Brenda.
Thank you. Very exciting to be the first. It's an honor.
We put out the call for guest designers for our subscription box earlier this year, and both Jess and I were blown away by your submission. So much so, in fact, that we actually selected 2 guest designers for this upcoming subscription club. So for those of you who are joining us live, go ahead and write in the comments your first name and where you are in the world, and welcome. And to those of you who are watching the replay, welcome as well. So Brenda, when you first saw this call for designers, did you have an idea in mind, or what were some of the first thoughts that went through your head?
Yeah, I immediately had an idea in mind. I have been designing cowls with knit on edges because I love being done with the knitting or with the making of a cowl when you're done with the knitting and not having this huge bind off. So having a lace edging or a knit on edging is a fabulous way to do that and to get more depth and width and length and more interesting texture going on. So when I saw your post for something Italian or reminiscent of Italy and all things Italy and sun-drenched colors, I immediately thought of this lace that I've been playing with, which coincidentally was called the Florentine lace.
Oh my gosh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. And I was, had it in mind for a design in the future. Wasn't sure what I was going to use it for. And then, sometimes limitations of what you can do help you to create something better. And one of the limitations was it needs to be one skein, and we want our knitters to be able to knit this in 4 weeks or less. So it's a very doable, very approachable project that doesn't carry on for a long time.
Right.
Which is fine, but we all like the quick wins too, makes you feel good. So designing for that was a pleasure.
Oh, that's great. And I had forgotten that. What a coincidence that it's called Florentine.
That's why.
Yeah.
It's the knit on edge. Yeah. And there's the cowl right there.
Yeah. So here's the cowl. Let me make sure you can see it okay. Now, Jess and I were having a conversation about how to style it. And when you see some of the pictures, you'll see that some of them, we laid it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of them, we had it with the button in the front. And so each kit comes with a button that you can choose, or you can choose your own. Oh, I'm not going to do it very well. But some of them
have to do things when you're on camera.
On camera, and everything's reversed. So some of them are have the button in front like this. What was your original intent?
With the button in the back, but I'm also always thinking about versatility and other ways to wear it. So I was happy to see in your model photos, this one had it on the side, one had it in the front, and it's also 9 different sizes.
Yeah.
So even if you wanted to make a larger size, you could have a few more styling options. One end will curl by itself, depending on how you button it up. So that could look really pretty, cascading down the front if you choose a larger size.
So pretty. And I love the way you said that, because this end just has such a beautiful drape.
Natural buttonholes too. I love that. You don't have to make a dark buttonhole because the lace is for you.
Yes, and then all you could see all here with the lacy edges, you can choose. Yeah. Right. So size, Jess says, size inclusive garment sizing for an accessory. Like, mind blown.
Yes, and I love that you showed it on a male model. That was perfect.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
my husband is the male model for everything I make, no matter what it is.
That's the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think my fiance would never. So
You have to ask.
so I just want to shout out hello to Rika from Ohio. How are you? So good to see you. And hello to Kinette from
I
Dallas,
can
who
see it.
I know
Our
she does
front area.
not want anything around her neck right now.
Oh, I hear you. I
I
hear you. I
completely
don't
understand.
either.
So yeah, just the way of knitwear design, as you know, is that we are designing knits in the heat of the summer, so that we're ready for the fall.
Yeah.
And Debbie is here from Pennsylvania. Hi, Debbie. And
I will
so
say though that this little cowl is really nice if you're going someplace in the evening. You know, 'cause
yes,
it's right now, if I were to go outside, I don't even want to wear clothes, let alone something that's knit. But if you're going to an evening wedding or you're going to be inside where it's going to get chilly because they have an air conditioning, that's just the right little something something, and goes over the shoulders and around the neck. And that's really where, if you wanted to be warm in the winter, you put stuff around your neck. That's your
yeah,
thermostat.
yep,
So this sits just below it. So it's not like it would overheat you. It's very lightweight. So you really don't notice that it's there, even though it's close fitting. It's not a choker because I
yes,
don't want to be uncomfortable.
it's so elegant, and the yarn is from the Plucky Knitter, and it's a cotton merino blend. So you've got the best of both worlds
Yeah. Yeah.
there. Yeah, and Catherine, welcome from New Hampshire. So for those of us who are in the north, and it does get cool even in the evenings in the dead of summer, we still have this option. So tell us a little bit, if you would, about how you got started knitting.
Oh gosh. I was in jewelry school learning how to be a metalsmith. And one of my best friends from there had gone over to her house and she had this most amazing knit blanket. It was just really cool. And it turns out it was just different fancy yarns knit together, like different colors of eyelash and boucle and all of that stuff, wonderful textures. And the way you put it together created this, I don't know, it reminded me of something Monet would do if he would paint with knitting.
Yes.
And it was so neat. So that encouraged me to learn how to knit. And like most knitters, you learn to knit on terrible needles, terrible yarn, and a long scarf that there's, after the first 5 inches, you're like, nope, that's okay. I'm done. I'm over it. And then, gosh, I think it was 5 years later, I had seen Ravelry online and went, oh, this was at the beginnings of Ravelry. I
Yep.
want to do that. So I finally learned how to knit, taught myself how, learned from some videos. There weren't much. It was mostly written stuff that you'd see online, or if there was some extra instruction and patterns, you'd get it there. So that's when it started.
Wow. There are some parallels. I mean, I started during the height of the fun fur eyelash scarf craze. And so, I'm sure what you saw was with the blanket was a lot more artistic. And then it became a little bit more trendy.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so I definitely made some of those scarves at first, but it was like right at the beginning of Ravelry. And then, um, you know, I became a yarn snob really when the local yarn shop opened in town. And I was like, oh, that's what the good yarn is.
Yeah, once you start working with something that has wonderful qualities to it, that's not going to split all over the place or pull apart as you're knitting it, or feel awful to your hands, you don't want to knit with something else after those experiences if you don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
There's a place for all the yarns, but
It is. And like there are great yarns at like every budget level. And so listen, I get it. There have been times where the cheapest way to do it was the way I needed to do it. And I would
oh
go to
yeah,
the store and buy a sweater and unravel it so that I could use the
Oh,
yarn.
wow.
Chunky weight.
Okay. That I might do.
Yeah. So yeah, it's such a pleasure. So these projects, and I think yours really fits in that niche. They're meant for people who they know how to knit, they know how to purl, cast on, and bind off, but you don't really need to know too much more. As long as you have the basics, your pattern is so thorough, and people
Yeah.
can just glide through it.
Oh, yeah. One of my main goals when I write a pattern is I want the knitter to enjoy the experience of the knitting and not be thrown off the horse, so to speak, because of the way the pattern's written, that there's something confusing, that it can be taken 5 different ways or isn't explained enough. But I was trying not to put too much explaining in, because then that also creates the same kind of issue. There's a fine art to explaining something simple with as few words as possible and getting the point across to as many people as possible.
That is so true. And I'm learning so much from you and from Jess. And for those of you who are new to us, Jess is our lead designer. Oh my gosh. And Jessica says, one of our wonderful test knitters asked, what magic was that setup row? So if you want to learn the magic also, you'll have to join our club so you can get the pattern. And hello, Laura from Nashville. I bet it's pretty hot in Nashville right now. So tell us about the transition from being a knitter, and you're already a creative person, you're already an artist, you're in the jewelry space. You learned how to knit, and then what on earth possesses you to start designing your own projects?
I started working for a knitting store, which, by the way, is a great way to afford the yarn to knit.
Yes.
The only way I could at the time.
Yeah.
Especially bigger projects. So I was doing that, and she was lamenting the fact that she had all this yarn, but the pattern for it was terribly written. People were confused by it. They didn't really like it. So I had seen online that Francois Denoy, she's a well-known knitwear designer, yes, teacher. She was teaching people how to design their own patterns. And I had been lurking on her social media accounts and hemming and hawing about doing it. And finally she did like a 1 or 2 week free class where learn how to make your own knitting pattern, what goes into it. Mm-hmm. So I'd taken that and I really liked it. So I'd signed up for Swatch Studio, which is where I met Jess, and we both learned how to be knitwear designers.
Oh, yes.
So my first pattern was for this yarn, a poncho that would make use of all the yarn, that would be easy to do. And I got to tell you, writing a simple pattern is harder than a hard pattern.
Yes. And what was the yarn, out of curiosity?
Unfortunately, it's no longer around. It was a combination of wool and I think it was a llama yarn, and it was very thick. So it was chunky yarn, and it had like a single braid of wool around the llama yarn. So it's almost a single ply.
Wow, it sounds beautiful.
So it was a quick knit. I still wear the poncho and I compliments on it all the time. But, it's one of those things that you got to wait for the right weather to wear.
Yeah. It's too soon.
Yeah. It's only in 3 sizes. I'd love to redesign it again, but I just haven't found the right yarn for it. But when I do, it's definitely going to be size inclusive instead of, hey, it fits most everybody I tried it on, which is
right.
Sizing, originally.
Oh,
so that's how I got into it.
Quick funny story about Frenchie, Francoise. She was at Vogue Knitting earlier this year, and she really helped Jess and I set up the guest designer program and the way that that we called for new designers.
Yeah.
And so I got to meet her in person, and I was so starstruck. that I lost my
I
voice.
hear ya. Oh no.
So she was the most, like when you meet someone and you see them on Instagram and you're like, wow, this person is like, she's done so much for so many of us. And
Yeah.
then she couldn't have been more lovely and down to earth. But
Oh yeah,
I was
she's
like,
very sweet.
I lost my voice, and she's like, oh, let's go out to lunch. And I couldn't speak. And I had to text her and say, I'm so sorry, but I lost my voice and I wouldn't be good company. And then when I got like a chicken Caesar salad at the canteen and sat down and relaxed, my voice came back. I was so nervous to meet her.
Oh my goodness. You could have just texted her throughout the meal.
I know.
She would have understood.
So maybe next time when I have a little more confidence.
Well, now that you've met her once, it won't be so
It won't be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I love that story about how out of necessity, and you had a problem to solve and you solved it. And talking about size inclusion, and of course we haven't dipped our toes into that very much here because we mostly do accessories. So
Yeah.
maybe a couple of sizes. Like you've really blown the door wide open with 9 different options. When you write a pattern for all those different sizes, how do you, you don't knit 9 different samples, right?
I only want to knit something once.
Exactly.
I'm a knitter. Once I've gotten the experience of it, that's nice. Now I want to go on and do something else. I
Right.
get more out of learning the technique than actually finishing a project, which is why I still have a Stephen West shawl hanging out in a bag in my room. It's a great experience. I'm like, okay, I'm done now. I don't want to do 20 rows of chevron. But what was the original question?
So
I'm sorry.
You don't have to answer if it's giving away trade secrets, but how do you write a pattern with 9 sizes without knitting it 9 times?
You have test knitters. You have test knitters, and no matter if it's just one size, like some shawls, one size is more than enough. And I could say in there, if you want to modify it, it's easy. You just add X amount of stitches, and then I'll give you X amount of inches, but know that you need more yarn. Because writing all those sizes is overkill for some patterns, but for others, it's really necessary, especially for like sweaters and things like that. And for this cowl, I figured why not? It was so easy instead of leaving it up to the person to do it. And it fit in nicely with the pattern. We could still get, a small number of pages as opposed to 15 or 20, which is what can happen when you expand like that. I prefer that when I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, there's no trade secret. It's testers.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you can't knit it all. So you need somebody else who is that size to knit it, because especially with sweaters, again, different things start to happen with the way they fit people of different sizes, different shapes. I mean, you can't possibly create a pattern for every combination of human body.
Yeah.
So you try and do like 9 or 13 maybe, and then find people for those sizes, try and knit it, and to tell you, this part doesn't fit so good. 2 or 3 of your knitters are saying that, then okay, I need to fix that part of it. Make it bigger, shorter, longer, less stitches, more stitches, or maybe some designs are not going to make it to 9 or 13 sizes or be size inclusive. And that's a mathematical thing. To get them all to look the same is a lot of work.
Yeah. And Jess said there's so much more math in knit design than you realize. And it's true. Yeah.
And we also had a great tech editor too.
Yes.
And a great tech editor will say to you really don't need this many sizes. You're not doing anybody any favors here. The way this is written. Or someone who specifically works with sizing, because that's a different editor. First of all, a tech editor will go through your pattern and go, yep, the math adds up. Yeah, the way you wrote it is pretty good. It's not confusing, those sorts of things. And then someone who goes through is a grading editor will say these sizes mathematically work out beyond the 5 plus 5 is 10. It's just for the length you're trying to get and for the size you're trying to put it on. Yes, this works, or maybe this isn't going to work. You need to think differently about this, or it works, but you're going to get different looks for different sizes. Is that what you intended?
Yeah.
So it takes more than just the designer to pull together a pattern. We need all these people. We've got to have our test knitters. Absolutely love them.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're thinking about being a test knitter, it's like a private knit along with the designer, or at least that's how I run mine.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that we don't just send out the kits to you and say, well, good luck. That we do have a tech editor. The one we use, she happens to be in England, and she is wonderful.
Yeah.
We don't always use her, but we usually do. And then we have our patterns tested as well. And so that way, that not only can you finish a project within 4 weeks, just in time for the next kit, but that also you're not going to have to rip it all out because there was an error, heaven forbid, in the pattern.
I mean, it can still happen because more advanced knitters, we take certain things for granted and don't realize we're doing that. So having somebody who's a brand new knitter is really great to go, well, what is this? And you go, oh, shoot, that's an error.
That is so true.
Or maybe that's something that needs better explanation or a video for me to help other folks.
Yes. And Jess is going to know exactly who I'm talking about, but one of our customers has improved our patterns so much by asking the right questions. And I say, oh, I need to make a video. Oh, I need to make a video. And then you've got a library of tutorial videos to go with the pattern. Because if one person has the question, a lot of other people do
absolutely.
Too.
Yeah.
So Joy Anderson says, yay, she got here and she is so thrilled to see you.
Hi, Joy. I love my test knitters. Absolutely love them. They are great, especially if there's a section that's written up and the tech editor says it's okay, but I'm still like, I don't know. I can ask them, hey, do you guys like what I'm doing here? Is it fun for you? Or are you just going, oh God, I have to slog through this?
Yeah, it's so refreshing because I guess I never really thought about, like, as a designer, I only want to knit things that I find are fun. It never occurred to me that, like, maybe the designer would want it to be fun for us.
Well, that's, I guess that's my customer service to my knitters.
Yeah, exactly.
Why am I doing this? And part of making them happy is knitting shouldn't make you miserable, right? It's not your job. You're trying to have fun. You're trying to have an experience. You want something to wear when you're done and go, look what I did. I'm pretty amazing. And for those of us that knit and crochet, you are amazing. You're making something out of nothing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. And Sylvia says, wondering if one of the 9 sizes would be appropriate for a shawlette. It's just gorgeous. And Sylvia, yes, stay tuned because this is a one skein wonder. But Brenda, I don't know if you know this or not, but we would definitely like to collaborate with you on a larger size version.
Sounds like it's done.
Yeah. For the holiday collection.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah. So that could be a nice opportunity for people who don't decide to join the club, but they still want to buy the kit and have an extended pattern. So yeah, Sylvia, stay tuned. So this the August box that will be shipped out in the first week of August, and it is a one skein wonder. So it uses one skein of the Plucky Knitter. It's a DK weight called Crew, and I'm just going to put the link in the comments here.
And thank you for the compliment, Sylvia. That's very nice. Oh, hi, Barbara. She's one of my test knitters.
Barbara, test knitting for you is always fun. So good. So our subscription box club is open. It's open between now and Friday night, midnight Eastern time. We are going to close the doors because I have a, very small amount of time in August that I'll be in town. Then I'm going on my honeymoon.
Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Thank you. And so,
Did you knit your dress?
no, David's bridal.
Good for you. I think that's what I did.
So mom took me to the dress shop, David's bridal, and the last one that I tried on, we were like, yeah, this is it. And that it was easy peasy.
Good. It's
So
your
yeah. So if you go to thespinninghand.com/club, you are going to find 3 options for the club. There is the month-to-month option. So if you join month to month, you pay $50 now. You'll get your first kit the first week of August. And it comes with the pattern by Brenda. It comes with the yarn from the Plucky Knitter. It comes with all of the goodies. So we have rosemary that's imported from Sicily.
Ooh.
We have Italian vintage and antique postcards. Some of them are 100 years old. Some of them are 50 years old. And we have, if you join by the end of the day, today, you will get a stitch marker set from Dawn at Twice Sheared Sheep.
Oh, those are pretty.
She made this set just for us with the sunflower tin and a set of 5 markers that are, specifically for this pattern. But that's an early bird bonus. If you're on the call and you already subscribe, you will get the stitch markers. So it's for current subscribers and anyone who joins before midnight tonight. And again, the link is in the comments. And and then the other choices are if you join for 3 months prepay, then you'll get the Florentine Cowl kit. You'll get La Dolce Vino, which is our wine bag and water bottle holder kit. And we're going to be talking to Emily Salvaggio, who is the designer of that kit, tomorrow at 2 p.m. And the third kit is a hood. It's called the Romana hood. I designed it. And balaclavas are back in. Did you know that, Brenda?
No, I did not know that.
I know you've been waiting for them to come back. They're back. So
I think I missed the boat on that one the first time, so here's my chance.
It's not too late. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us.
You have a contest too, right?
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. I forgot
This
to
contest
mention.
is something else.
Yep. So on Thursday, when we have our end of launch party, we are giving away a 6-month subscription. So if you go to thespinninghand.com/giveaway, you will be entered to win a 6-month subscription. Beth says, Vogue says that the balaclavas are back. So you know it's true. Okay. So I put the giveaway link in the comments. So one person will be winning a 6-month subscription. So definitely join that.
That's a nice surprise.
Yeah. And so that's like it's like a $300 value. So good. Thank you so much for your time, Brenda.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was so much fun. And thank you everybody for joining us. And I hope to see you again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, and we will meet Emily. And then on Thursday, also at 2 p.m., we'll have our big giveaway and party. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Nice meeting you.